welcome to the Asylum. I'm your host, Don, and with me today, as always, is my co-host, Jeremiah.
Who was dreading a pirate movie because the last pirate movie was dreadful and had crabs,
It
giant crabs,
had
and French
giant,
accents.
had
This one
giant,
does not have giant crabs or a
or,
French accent.
or giant unexplainable bugs. So all bonuses, honestly.
Well, he does
Um,
have a pirate that kind of looks like a bug.
he does.
I'm
I
still not
actually,
sure what the heck his makeup was supposed to be.
I liked it though. Honestly,
I
I think it
just
was.
I just don't know what it was. Like they kept like the camera at the very beginning. I was really worried because the camera like showed him, but it was really out of focus, and all of a sudden it showed an HD shot right after that. I'm like, wait a second, are you gonna have his face that way the entire time? But they don't. It just it's really hard to get any detail on what the heck that is.
I liked it. I think that it was supposed to be like the idea that he had been like left underwater for hundreds of years, so his
Or
body
in a
had decayed
chest of some
underwater
kind. Yeah.
in a chest.
So I'll
So
just say this up front. I appreciate that this is a slasher movie where literally someone
we
is slashed every 2 minutes to five
we
minutes.
introduced the movie first.
Yeah. So we're talking about Jolly Roger Massacre at Cutter's Cove, which is literally a teen slasher movie in the vein of I Know What You Did Last Summer, except unlike I Know What You Did Last Summer, this one has a lot of slashing. Like every couple of minutes, someone gets slashed. I
and
think they know exactly what they're doing.
and honestly, a better explanation of who and why than I know what you did last summer.
Oh yeah, the killer in that one's the worst. That
Yeah,
entire franchise has the worst killer.
don't get me wrong.
Hot people, great actors, and yes,
I I love I know what you did last summer. The first two.
but the
I,
killer is terrible.
I haven't watched the television series yet. I try to get
Oh yeah,
into it.
that did exist. I forgot.
Yeah, it does exist. The main actress in it's actually really good. I'm trying to remember her name right now. Uh, it's not going to come to me. It's a unique name. I can't think of what it is right now, but she's really good. I've seen her in a couple other movies. She was in Fear of Rain that I watched a while back. I think I did a review on that one. That was the one.
Madison Eisman.
That's the one. Madison Eisman. She's phenomenal. She's a really
She's in
good actor.
Goosebumps.
Yeah,
Goosebumps 2 and in Jumanji. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, she's Bethany in Jumanji. Got it.
She's a good actress.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to get into I know what you did last summer, the television series, but I didn't. So anyway, moving on to the movie we're supposed to be talking
So
about.
Jolly Roger Massacre at Cutter's Cove is even shorter than most their movies. It's an hour and 20 minutes instead of an hour and a half flat, which is literally every other one. It is from 2005. It came out just before they started making mockbusters, so
So this
before
is
War of the Worlds. It
pre-Asylum.
is it is very R-rated.
Yes, it is.
Like
It is
there is
very hard.
gore, there is blood, there are lots of boobs. My guess would be close to 10 minutes of boobs.
Probably
Um,
of the 1 hour and 20 minutes, I would say approximately 10%. Nah, more than 10%. Yeah.
there is a lot of deaths, some of them even good.
Yeah.
Uh,
The first kill was good. The
the one
classic.
where the
Yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic kill that you see in so many slasher films where two teens are off having sex and the slasher comes up and stabs the one on top in the back and then it bleeds all over the other one and then he kills the other one. It's a
I just
classic.
find it really weird that she's so horny. Like she's not quite having sex yet. She's there at the point where they're getting really close. She's shirtless, and she looks back, sees him, and doesn't scream. She just kind of dies.
Yeah.
But they find this chest. They open this chest up, and they get dust in their eyes or something. And then this pirate mysteriously shows up and starts killing people. The next set of kills is actually really awesome because there's like the marshmallow skewer to the face.
Death
I
by S'more.
how did the other guy die? His head lopped off cleanly?
Yeah, head lopped off cleanly. There's a
Uh,
lot of head lopping off.
So
Like,
the kid at the beginning who was telling terrible jokes is like either that's the most accurate representation of that type of kid, or it's a terrible actor. And I think it's they
no.
got lucky and they have both.
Right. Um, the acting in this movie is not
It's
great.
slasher acting.
Yeah, it's slasher acting. It's early Asylum. Before Asylum would pick a random actor that they would throw into a movie. So this is all relative unknowns. Um, that are acting in this, and they all did a job.
Mhm.
I think that a lot
And not really many of them are on screen for very long. Like
they
they
inter-
have a pretty big hit list in this movie and kill a
they did
lot of people.
they pretty much any character they introduce that's not the main dude and the main
There's
chick.
4 main people that are around for the most part.
I
2
got you.
cops, 2
Oh yeah,
cops, 2
the female
teens.
cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Female cop, chief, main dude, dude's chick. Yeah.
And so
So
the pirates is literally kill and the pirate, of course.
yeah, and the pirate, obviously. So the pirate, his name is Jolly Roger, which I think is the best possible name for a murderous pirate ever.
He's not at all jolly,
Yeah, it's fair.
and his name
Uh,
isn't actually Roger.
it is Roger. It's Roger LaForge.
Oh, Roger LaForge, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the pirate is a guy, and his name is Roger LaForge, and he was like a dreaded pirate. They said that he rivaled Blackbeard or whatever. And he was the captain of a pirate ship, and apparently they did some very atrocious things, and his crew mutinied, murdered him, stuffed his body into a chest, threw the chest over the side of the boat, and then they came to
Started a town.
yeah, they founded their own town after that to like make amends, I guess. I don't really know. They founded their own town. So Jolly Roger is going through the town finding the descendants of the pirates that murdered him and then murdering them.
And he recognizes them through like magic in his eyeballs.
Yeah, he recognizes their eyes. They all have the right eyes, apparently. One of them has, as a founding father's daughter, he would be very disappointed because she became a stripper, so that we could have a stripper scene with the most
2
amazing,
strippers.
security camera system that I have
With
ever heard.
reverse angles. I don't know how you could have a security camera with that many. One camera. Well, not many cameras. One camera with
One
reverse angles, other angles up close on them.
picked
Like
up
it's
all
clearly
this,
aimed at the pole, as
yeah,
it should be aimed at the pole.
all the
Eh,
sound, all the sound. It was wonderful. But yeah, so that's a thing. I think that that may have been my favorite kill because of the fact that she's hanging on the pole, so she's upside down, and he cuts in a downward motion, chopping her head off, and her head flies up and hits the security camera that's at the ceiling. So that is an incredible amount of force.
What about just before that, when he like lobbed a guy's arm off?
Where he rips the dude's arm off.
Well, I find it funny that these people are getting killed, and of course the cops go, "Oh, these teens that survived clearly did it because one has a juvie record." Like, do
Yeah,
you
he
know how
has
much force it takes to lob off people's heads with a sword?
a lot. It takes a lot of force to
Because it
chop off.
wasn't sawed; it was just a clean through.
Yeah, it was.
And they're like, "It's definitely the kids, definitely." No, that kid has a record, but he doesn't have a record of cutting people's heads off.
Also, they don't wonder about the person that was shot with a flintlock pistol from the 1700s.
Well, he was shot and stabbed, though. His head was definitely
But,
cut off then.
but he was shot with a antique.
I'm pretty sure the mortician guy wasn't able to get through that. There was too many bodies stacked up.
There were a
And the
lot.
mayor is like, "Yeah, don't bring in extra help. We've got this one." Yeah, even though the at the very first kill, the sheriff is like, "We need the FBI." No, no, we don't need that. We don't. We need the FBI.
Guy's a top-notch sheriff, by the way. It's fantastic.
Well, at least he knew right away that he needs the FBI.
Yeah, right. His investigative skills are not great. However, I do appreciate that when when the main characters explain to him what's going on, that he just accepts it. He's just like, all right, cool. I'm in. I believe you.
Well, no, he didn't really accept it till he literally saw a stripper get killed by a pirate.
That's
And
true.
the pimp's like, "There was a pirate here." And the one that the first stripper that didn't get killed was the one talking like, "I'm grinding on this guy. He's not giving me anything." He starts smacking her like, "We don't pay for our wenches." And,
I've never paid for a wench in my life.
and there was some weird story at the beginning about like a pirate getting his wish and having a bunch of people worship him and have sex with him. I'm like, what the heck does that have to do? I literally thought there'd be an orgy in this movie somewhere
I think
because they
that
talked about a pirate having sex with a bunch of women who just worship him.
Isn't that the intro to finding the treasure chest on the girl's shirt?
Something like that. But it was
Yeah,
weird. It's like, why bring that up at the beginning if it has nothing to do with what's I thought like that's literally
because
what the
it's
stripper is going to be. Is a bunch of they just follow him out and want to have sex with him, and they just do it because why
yeah.
not? It's the asylum.
Asylum's done weird stuff, that's for sure.
And like
Um,
how the other one doesn't believe him until like she literally sees a school teacher murdered, and like by the way, it's an actual. I actually thought she was going to get murdered on the way out, and then no one actually knows that it's an actual pirate. They still chase the kids.
yeah, I liked the what was he the lawyer one
The
where
one
with
complaining about things.
the secretary that clearly has never gone to typing school.
The one that I said it's like Heartbreakers, Jennifer Love Hewitt. At least she
If
dresses like that
you
and
squint a lot,
listens to rock music and doesn't want to listen to him whine.
which she clearly was not listening to the music that was playing.
No, she has great rhythm. It's okay.
Anyway, so there's a lot of head chopping, some shooting. There's
Shooting, shooting.
a twist ending, which was fairly predictable.
Well,
But
it's very
overall,
much in the vein of the slasher movies at the time, and it very much tries to be a slasher movie at the time. And I will say this: I have no idea how big that town was that they were supposed to be in. I'm like, why is there a strip club here? But that high school looks pretty big, but you don't no idea because the location wise, you don't know. Their mayor is clearly terrible. There's not a ton of cops. I think they counted like 5 of them at one time.
yeah, it's got to be a small town because of how few cops there are. Also, the jail or the interrogation room.
Has a door to the outside behind like a random shelf
Yeah, so they take the kids, the teenagers, to an interrogation room.
because he wants to interrogate them his way.
Yeah, and the guy is like, I have to get out of here. I have a record. They're gonna pin this on me, which is true. So he like starts looking for a way out, and he finds a bookshelf, and he like moves it, and there's a door, and then he uses the girl's bra to pick the lock on the door. Which first he checks his pockets to see if he's got anything to pick the lock with, and then he says that they took everything out of our pockets. Like apparently he forgot that he gave them everything that was in his pockets when they took him to the sheriff's office. And then on top of that, there's a door in the interrogation room to the outside, not to like another hallway, directly outside. What?
Also, they're trying to pin on him because he had tried giving this girl his class ring before and she threw it down. And clearly, since it was thrown down on the ground, that means it's clearly his fault that something happened. Even
Clearly.
though they literally brought up in the same conversation, oh look, we're old traditions. Um, and then uh the cop was trying to get like a doctor to come to get a DNA sample. I've watched enough Law and Order. Why don't you just give him a cup
Yeah,
or
right?
anything like that? You
Offer,
can,
offer him
but
a soda. And if he leaves, opens it, drinks it, and then leaves the soda there you
it's
go.
yours.
And he's a
Yeah,
teenager. He's not going to figure that out. Like, come on.
and but I will say I will say that is the story very good? No, no. Like
But
Pirates
is,
is literally killing people
but
because
is,
of an event that happened, and they don't really flesh out enough because this movie, it's too short. Like if they wanted to tell that story, they needed at least one data dump scene that they did not do. It
yeah, it was very pithy, but it wasn't terrible by any means.
was not terrible.
It's watchable.
And
But
you can
there's
definitely tell that they didn't have a lot of coverage when it comes to filming stuff because like every kill is like literally as close up as possible, and it's almost always a head getting chopped off. Some of the people, like most of the people killed, you have no idea who the heck they are anyway. And near the end, they're like, he has 3 more heads.
Yep,
Yep, don't know who those people were anyway. There's more heads in there.
he killed at least 17 people.
16.
17 because he kills the guy at the end.
Oh, yeah, 17. And almost all by cutting off their heads.
Well, yeah, because
Does he kill anyone that he didn't need to kill because of the crew?
the bouncer at the titty bar.
Did he kill him or just lob off his arm and let him scream?
I think he, I think if you get your arm chopped off, you tend to bleed to death.
But what about the girl at the beginning with the skewer through her head?
She might not have been one that he intended to kill either. So he killed. So if you count the girl, or the girl with the skewer in her head, if you count the guy at the strip club, 19 people, almost 20, somewhere in there. And then if you count the lady that died of the heart attack, that's at least 20.
Yeah, there's it's kind of an impressive kill count for this type of movie,
For real.
especially since I think I know what you did last summer. All three of them combined maybe had 20 total.
In 80 minutes. That means 2 deaths, or 1 death every 5 minutes, approximately.
Yeah, which is impressive because I think the entire I Know What You Did Last Summer series has maybe 20
Yeah, probably. I mean, the first
at best.
Halloween had like 4.
Poor Loomis. Meanwhile, the most recent one had a lot of them because
A lot of them.
evil ends tonight.
Most certainly did not.
Let's go get them.
Speaking of, when the next Halloween movie comes out, I will be doing a review of it. So for my fans of Let's Talk Spook, you can hear me talk about my favorite slasher franchise and the actual, maybe possibly real ending. I don't know.
Well, it's at least the ending of this of Blumhouse's because they only got 3.
In my heart, the end of Halloween will always be Halloween H2O.
Yeah, but I think Curtis
that's
might
where,
disagree for this one.
that's where the series should have ended, right there. That's a
But
different. That has nothing
so
to do with.
IMDb, right, literally just has just the cover, and honestly, that picture of the pirate is just about as clear as it is in the
Yeah,
movie.
this is
You never
probably
really see the boat anyway,
the
and
most accurate movie poster for an Asylum film, except for maybe Shark Side of the Moon.
it says he's back from hell to get get his gold. I don't think he actually gets his gold, and I don't think they really mentioned that he went to hell. In fact, he just kind of shows up as soon as they open the chest.
Yeah. I think that like the sheriff tells him to go to hell at one point. I was expecting him to say something along the lines of like "been there, done that" or something like that, and he didn't even they didn't even take the opportunity for that. It was kind of disappointing.
I just find it weird how, yeah, he is a ghost. He does disappear a lot after he does the kill. He like disappears. They did show that at least to explain how no one's like there's a pirate walking around. I like how they actually checked the novelty store. Like he's never sold a pirate suit ever.
He sold a peg leg once and an eye patch, but never a whole.
Some of those hooks. um, it's 80 minutes, which means there's probably 75 minutes of actual anything in it. It moves,
and
lots of death,
and at least 10 minutes of boobs.
lots of boobs. You don't really get to know really anyone. The kid's criminal background is dumb.
Even
Doesn't
like
really matter.
even the main characters you really don't get to know. There's no getting to know any characters in this movie at all. There's like a subplot about how the sheriff doesn't want to be a sheriff anymore that they never really explore.
I did kind of blink at the end because when they get the last kill, it's like, wait, why that one? And before they had mentioned that he had like changed his name or something like that and came from another town and had come here, and I'm like, oh, that's what that meant.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dumb. But for an Asylum movie, this ranks pretty darn near the top because
Yeah.
it was actually watchable. There's good gore.
This is
Really no
definitely
suspense.
This is definitely one of the better Asylum films that we've watched. It's not up there with Avengers Grimm, or
I would put it more entertaining than Avengers Grimm.
I would
But
strongly disagree because Avengers Grimm is the pinnacle of
so
Asylum.
if Casper Van Dyne was the cop, this would definitely be number 1.
Yeah, probably.
The gore effects was good. They kept they kept the slashing side. They kept on going. They didn't really get boring with it, though. I do say he had a habit of lobbing off a lot of heads, but at the same time, they had enough variation with how they got to the rest of it that it made sense.
All the effects are practical, so there's no ridiculous CGI, which is nice. Man, I don't know. Where would we put this on our sliding scale of Asylum?
I'd put it very near the top, like top 3 or 4.
Well, Avengers Grimm 2, Electric Boogaloo. And
As
then
if
and then after that would be War of the Worlds, Annihilation, Shark Side. I put it right underneath Shark Side of the Moon, I think.
Yeah, it's a
I mean,
pretty fair place to put it.
Probably number 5 on my list. Jeremiah scores Shark Side of the Moon higher, so
That's because it has sharks and the moon and lava, which we found out is actually there.
yeah, it's true. Thank you, whoever that random person was in the comments. It's always nice to learn something.
Okay, can you see the picker wheel now?
Yes.
Let's see what we get next. This wheel is getting actually almost, I can almost read it.
I know, right? We're working our way through it.
Let's try this.
Wheel of Asylum. Turn. It's not spinning. Oh, there's turn, turn, turn. Tell us the movie that we shall burn.
The Faculty.
Faculty's not an Asylum film. Invasion of the Pod People.
The Faculty.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Same.